this video, we're going to take a look at how to integrate 1 over the quantity 25x squared plus 4 with respect to x. So one antiderivative that you might recall looks something like so. And if we had the sum of squares anywhere in our antiderivative, whether it was underneath a radical or to another power, we saw that there could be a use for a trig substitution. So I'm going to do that in a little while and show you that it comes out to be the same. But you may recognize this one to just be the inverse tangent of u plus c. And of course, we have to identify our u and our du based on the problem. So I'm going to tackle it using this formula first, and then show you that you get the exact same thing if you just do your good old-fashioned trig substitution. One thing I will note is you really want that denominator, or wherever that sum of squares are, to be a plus 1. So I need to look at my antiderivative, and in my integrand right here, I'm looking at this quantity. I'm saying I need that 4 to be a plus 1. So I'm going to forcefully, whether I want to or not, factor out a 4. So this will then become 25 over 4 times x squared, and now I at least have the plus 1. Okay, so now I'm one step closer. And so now what happens is I need to look at what is this u, right? What is the value that I am squaring? And I'm going to move actually that 1/4 all the way to the front so it doesn't look too confusing here. And then if you take a look at 25 over 4x squared, the quantity that you would be squaring is a 5 over 2 and the x. So hopefully that's not too big of a stretch here. Don't forget your dx as you're writing these problems down, because that is your variable of integration. Okay, so now I'm going to assign my u to be 5 over 2 times x, so that du is just 5 over 2 dx. If I put a times 5 over 2 on the inside, because now I'll have the 5 over 2 times dx, I can multiply outside by 2 over 5. Remember, you're multiplying your problem truly just by a factor of 1, because 5 halves times 2/5 multiplies to be 1. So I'm not changing the value of my integrand, I'm just changing the way that it looks. So now if I rewrite this, what I have left, let's see, fraction-wise, I have 1/10 as the coefficient in front of my antiderivative. And then I have 1 over that 5 over 2 times x I called u. So that'll be u squared. And then I have plus 1, and now the 5 halves dx turned into du. And then that becomes my inverse tangent, so I have 1/10 inverse tangent of u, or certainly arctangent would be fine. And then I'm not going to say or, let's just put in our u to be correct here in the end. So if I put in my u, I have 1/10, again, inverse tangent or arctan of my u was 5 over 2 times x, or 5x over 2. So let me quickly show you, because that didn't take too terribly long, let me quickly show you the trig substitution and how that actually doesn't take very long either. So I'm going to copy this problem down again and show that we get the same thing. Remember that this 25x squared is really the same thing as the quantity 5x squared, so that's the first piece that I kind of want to make sure you know. The second thing that I want to make sure we remember is when we were doing our trigonometric substitution, the goal was to turn everything that has an x, whether it's a dx or just a standard x as a variable, we want to turn all of those into thetas. And then once we do, we should see some form of a Pythagorean or some simplification that can be done so that we can easily integrate it. Okay? So if we think back to our trig substitution, what I remember is if any time I have a sum of squares, which I definitely have when I'm looking at 25x squared plus 4, that is a sum of squares, I want to start with tangent as my trig function. So I'm going to say let tangent of theta be, and we always said it was what we were squaring variable in the term that had the variable, so 5x, over what we were squaring as the constant term. Because remember, we always had some function squared plus some other constant squared. So what was that a? That is a 2. And because I'm going to need to use it later, I'm going to multiply by 2 here. So I get 2 tangent theta equals 5x. I don't necessarily have to solve that for x unless you want to, but what I will do is go ahead and find its derivative right now. 2 secant squared theta d theta would be the derivative of 2 tangent theta, and the derivative of 5x would be 5 dx. And I'll solve for dx just so I can show, so I'll divide both sides by 5. I'm not sure if that needed the extra step or not. Okay, so I'm going to reserve this here and hold that, and I'm also going to kind of look at the 2 tangent theta equals 5x. Now let's make sure this is going to make sense. The one thing we said with trig substitution was you should be able to draw a right triangle, and this should make sense to us. I'm going to label my angle theta, and based on the relationship that I wrote, just using basic SOHCAHTOA, I'm going to label this triangle. So tangent is opposite over adjacent, so I will label opposite of my theta the 5x, and I will label the adjacent 2. And solve quickly for the third side. In this case, it happens to be my hypotenuse, so I'll solve for that using Pythagorean theorem. So I have the sum of the squares of the legs, so 5x squared is 25x squared, plus 2 squared is 4, and of course you would have to take the square root to solve for that hypotenuse. If that sum of squares matches what's in your problem, we said, hey, this is going to work and it should be integrable from what you have. So let's take a look. Let's do these substitutions. So I have the antiderivative of 1 over. In place of the 25x squared, remember we said that was the quantity 5x squared? Well, I know what 5x is. 5x is 2 tangent theta. So in place of the 25x squared, or the quantity 5x squared, I'm going to put 2 tangent of theta squared, because again, that comes from here. Then I have plus 4, nothing to substitute there yet. And then I have to substitute in my dx. And my dx I found here, so that's 2/5 secant squared theta d theta. And now this should simplify really nicely and hopefully relatively quickly. I can definitely pull the 2/5 as a constant coefficient out front. If I square 2 tangent theta, I do get 4 tangent squared theta. And I still have that secant squared theta d theta on the end. Okay, I'm going to factor out 1/4, and when I do that, I'm actually going to bring it all the way out front because, again, it is a constant coefficient, but I'm going to factor out that 4 from the denominator, so 1/4 overall. So that will now be just tangent squared theta plus 1. I'm going to copy down the rest of my antiderivative. Well, what we know from our Pythagorean identities, or what I hope we know from our Pythagorean identities, is that tangent squared of theta plus 1 is equal to secant squared theta. So this tangent squared theta plus 1 is equal to secant squared theta. You could certainly write it as secant squared theta just to see. So I'll do that just so you can see. This will be 1/10. Secant squared theta divided by secant squared theta is 1. So you are literally integrating d theta, or 1 d theta. So I get that 1/10 out front, and it's just theta plus c. Well, where you started the problem, kind of with that right triangle trig, right? Basic SOHCAHTOA, basic tangent is opposite over adjacent, is kind of where you're going to end this problem as well. If I have 1/10 of theta plus c, I actually have multiple different ways that I can represent theta. But the easiest is going to be to go back to the very, very beginning where you identified tangent of theta is 5x over 2. So I can take inverse tangent of both sides to figure out that this will be inverse tangent of 5x over 2. Again, inverse trig solves for the angle. So again, even if you memorize the formula for inverse tangent, great, but you can use your trig substitution to get you there as well. I hope you found this helpful. Thanks so much for watching. Have a good day.